Well, hello there, everybody. It's AARON, double A with RON Entertainment. Aaron Entertainment coming to you from this condo, this room, this condo. I wasn't planning on doing this before, but late last night, I decided to do a special stream, and this stream is going to be NBA 2021 season preview. I'll be talking about what's coming up in the season, my predictions, who's going to make the playoffs for each conference, and I'm going to give my early NBA Finals predictions and who's going to represent the Western Conference and who's going to represent the Eastern Conference. And before we get to that, as you see, I'm on Twitch now, trying this on Periscope. For I don't know for how long. Periscope till March. See how it is, because in March, Twitter's ending Periscope. They're getting rid of Periscope. So, yeah, I know I'm a day late with this season preview. As I said, I wasn't planning talking about it, or making it. Till around late last night. I was thinking, because I wanted to do something. I don't know if I wanted to make a video or a stream. I decided to go for a stream because I bought the basic edition of the StreamYards so I could stream more than 20 hours a month. So I'm like, why not, right? That means I'm on 3 platforms. I'm on Periscope. You can check through it up. Aaron Entertainment on Twitter. I'm on Twitch. Same thing, Aaron Entertainment. And now I'm going to get started as soon as I can. You know what? Before I get to the season preview, let's just start with the 2 games last night. So I was watching most of the Brooklyn Nets game. And Warriors game. You know why they put the Warriors on, right? Because Kevin Durant's facing his old team. So obviously they wanted to have Kevin Durant face his old team as the first game of the season for the NBA. And otherwise, the Warriors would not be shown first if it wasn't for Kevin Durant facing his old team. But the NBA did it on purpose. Well, Steph Curry's back too, right? Let's get rid of this. Oh, hey, Gaming Goblin. How are you guys? How are you? Hey. Hey. So, yeah, okay. So, that was a great game. I think Brooklyn dominated Golden State from the start, as expected. As expected. Durant looked really, really good. Did not look like he missed anything, right? He looked like he hasn't missed a beat of basketball. He looked really, really good. Irving looked good. The whole team looked good. That Brooklyn team's gonna be dangerous. We got the Warrior team. Curry's back. Shot's back. We'll see with Wiseman. We'll see what all that team does. Then we got the Sunday, the night game. I almost said Sunday. The night game, the Battle of LA, Lakers and Clippers. Kawhi Leonard, Paul George versus Anthony Davis, and King James, LeBron James. And this is where we saw the Clippers get the best of the Lakers in the first game of the season, beating them 116 and 109. So that's the games last night. But this is a preview. Yeah, it's a little late. I'm a little late, but so okay. Okay. So it's short off season, right? Short off season, 72 days before the first games that happened last night. You have lot of movement in the NBA. Like Russell Westbrook being traded for John Wall. Rockets and Wizards make a big trade. We got Lakers, I think, got better with Dennis Schroeder and Montrezl Harrell. I think Clippers got better with the addition of Ibaka. Gasol went to the Lakers. I don't blame him, right? Once you go to and we know James Harden wants to be traded. Will he be traded? And what's happening with the Rockets today? Well, that team's a mess. Okay. So let's go East. Let's start with the East. The Bucks made a big trade. Remember, they got Drew Holiday. They botched a trade with Sacramento. But they did. It got better with it. Drew Holiday's an upgrade over Eric Bledsoe. Much bigger upgrade. He can shoot, defend, go to the rim. He'll help out. Especially for Giannis. Giannis needs a lot more help. So here we go. So I think the Bucks got better. I'm gonna say this. I don't think the Celtics got better. I think they got a little worse. I think the Atlanta Hawks got better. They did make some solid additions, but I don't know if they're a playoff team. I think the Raptors, my Toronto Raptors, got a little bit worse with the subtraction of Gasol and Ibaka. Those are huge losses. Ibaka's a huge loss. I think the Sixers got better with some shooting, trades for some shooting, with Curry's brother, Stephen Curry, and let's go. So let's go to the Atlantic Division. The Atlantic Division is gonna be good this year, stacked. The Knicks are gonna be fifth in that division. Knicks are gonna be fifth in that division, hands down. Then we got the Raptors, Celtics, 76ers, and Nets battling out Now the Raptors were the top of that division for most of the time. Most of the time in the past few years. They won the championship in 2019. I don't think they're going to win this division. They might. I think they're at best a second or third. I think all these teams, these 4 teams I mentioned, not the Knicks, could make the playoffs. I think they're all playoff caliber teams. But I'm going to go with the Nets to win the division. From what I saw last night, I really like that team. It's just that if Kyrie and Durant could coexist, could get on the same page or whatever, and that bench with LeVert, DeAndre Jordan, Josh Harris, Allen, if they could step up, LeVert has been when those 2 guys weren't there playing last season. Well, Irving was injured most of the season. Of course, Durant was out the year. Win Atlantic, because it's Durant, man. Durant was the best player in that division. I think after that, Celtics are going to be second. And I think the Raptors are going to be third. And I think the Sixers are going to be fourth. And the Knicks fifth. Now let's get to the Central. Now the Central is not as good as the Atlantic. But Milwaukee's going to win that division. It's hands down. Milwaukee's going to win that division. I think the Bulls might be a little better. Pistons, I don't know. I think the Pistons are on a decline. Gone worse. Much worse. Wizards, Westbrook. Maybe Westbrook and Beal can help lead that team to a playoff spot. Cavaliers, don't see them as a playoff team. Not yet. So, I think the only sure team in that division that's going to make the playoffs is Milwaukee. I don't see the other teams making the playoffs. I see the top 4 teams in the Atlantic, Toronto, Boston, Philadelphia, and Brooklyn making the playoffs, and I see Milwaukee. So that's 5 teams in the East that I see making the playoffs. Now let's get to the South division with Miami, Charlotte, Atlanta, or Orlando, or wherever. Pacers, I can see the Pacers making the playoffs. Okay, Pacers in the Central, Wizards are in the South. Pacers are maybe 6th to 8th seed at best. Sorry. And the doors now the South, that's where the Wizards are. My bad. Miami's going to win the division. I see them making the playoffs. Did Orlando get better? Did the young players get better? Orlando was a playoff team. I do see the Atlanta Hawks going a little bit. I do see the Hornets going a little better. Hayward's a big addition for that team. Wizards, Hawks did to make some additions. Deal got already in. So I see Miami at 6. I see 6 teams making the playoffs. 4 in the Atlantic. The Central, we got 1 for sure. 4 for sure in the Central. In the Atlantic, 1 in the Central. And for sure 1 in the South. So that's 6. Now let's talk battling from 7th to 8th seed. And I think the Knicks are the worst team in that conference. So Orlando, I think Orlando's going to battle for it. I think Charlotte's going to battle for between 7 and 8. I think Atlanta will have a chance this year. I think they got a little better. Wizards, I do think Washington, yes, I do think Washington has a chance. I do think Wizards have a chance for 6th, the 7th, and 8th. The Knicks are out of it. I think the Cavs are not going to do it. Cavs are out of it. Pistons, I don't trust Blake Griffin. I think they're not going to do it. So I think it's going to go between Hawks, Hornets, Wizards, Magic, and that's about it. But you never know. You never know. Now, yeah, this is not going to be a long video, guys. Yeah, Westbrook and Beal. Yeah, that's why I'm saying they have a chance to make it. That's why I have a chance I see him possibly having between 7th and 8th seed. So let's go over with the Eastern Conference. The 4 Atlantic teams: Toronto, Boston, Philadelphia, and Brooklyn. I see making the playoffs. I see Toronto possibly being one of those spots battling for between 6th and 8th, not 7th and 8th, because that's a stacked Atlantic division. For sure Milwaukee, maybe the Pacers. In the South, definitely Miami, and I can see Orlando, Washington, Atlanta. Yeah, I'm putting Atlanta on there, and Charlotte possibly battling for last playoff spots in the East. Knicks are out of it. Cavs are out of it. Don't trust the Pistons. Knicks should get first overall pick. And let's go to the Western Conference. Western Conference. Well, I'm going to say it. I think the Lakers are the best team in that conference. They won the championship, and I think they got better with the additions of Hero and Schroeder from Oklahoma. I think they got better. Gasol's a solid backup. Gasol defend. He's not going to be asked to do much. He's a good leader. The Lakers got better. Now let's look at the Clippers. They got Nicholas Batum and Ibaka. We'll see what Batum is like. You know, he's injury prone. Right? But I think I like the Ibaka addition to that team. Ibaka's really, I think he's better. He does more than Hero, who they lost to the Lakers, to the rivals, crosstown rivals, because he could defend, he could rebound, he could shoot. He does everything well for a big man, and he'll fight for you. You know, he's tough as nails. Houston, I don't know about Houston with Harden. This team's recipe for disaster. This team, on talent, on paper, with John Wall, they should be a playoff team. With DeMarcus Cousins, they should be a playoff team. But this team has recipe for being worse than it should be, especially what's going on today. Especially what's going up today. And Harden has to take this shit seriously. I'm sorry. He's, you know what he's doing. This is not Harden. No team's gonna trade for him because there's all these stories coming out about him, about his practices and his not taking COVID seriously. Even though it was confirmed he had COVID, but he's still not taking it seriously. No team's gonna trade for him. They're gonna be like, yeah, this guy's too much trouble. I think Houston's stuck with him. If I was any other 29 teams, I'd be like, nah, we're not interested in trading for this guy. He's a troublemaker. And good thing John Wall's been tested negative. But Houston may start the whole bench. Houston whoever to play tonight may have to postpone or something. And you got the Harden and Cousins. You know Cousins is like, right? He gets easily angry, easily emotional. He'll get flagrants. If he's healthy, he'll probably lead the league in flagrants this year. Okay. Harden's a great scorer, but he's a tool. He's a tool. And I wouldn't want him on my team. So I don't know what Rockets. So I definitely see the Lakers winning their division and the Clippers second. Nuggets, I think will do well. They're not better than the Lakers and Clippers, but I think Nuggets gonna be a playoff team. Again, Jazz are gonna be a playoff team. Those are 4 teams. I think the Trailblazers might be a playoff team. I think the Mavericks are gonna take a next step. Not better than Lakers, not better than Clippers. I wouldn't be surprised if Houston's having these volatile problems with their players and stuff. Don't be surprised if the Mavericks win that division and overtake Houston, because I really believe in Luka Doncic. I think he's an MVP candidate this season. I think he's an MVP candidate this season, Luka Doncic, because he's a beast. I know Porzingis is hurt, and you can't rely on Porzingis, but I still think with Luka there, Dallas could overtake Houston this season because of the disarray in the Houston organization. So that's 6 teams, right? I mentioned. Now we got to battle it out. Who else in the division? I think I see it. Let me check my phone. The conference. Yeah, I agree with you. I think they have a chance. I think Mavericks have a chance. I think Mavericks are going to take the next step this season. Don't be, I think Phoenix might have a chance to make the playoffs this season. I love the addition of Chris Paul. They're young. Booker. I think Houston might have a chance to make the playoffs this season as a 7th or 8th seed. San Antonio maybe as a 7th or 8th seed. I don't know about Sacramento, maybe. So, Golden State, I think. Yeah. Well, Porzingis is healthy. Yeah, the thing is with Porzingis is that he may be healthy, but for how long? For how long, right? That's the question. So I think Phoenix, has a chance to make the playoffs. I don't see Oklahoma. They're in rebuilding mode. You think so, Booker? Maybe. He's a great scorer. I'll give him that. Maybe. It's hard to be MVP in this season, right? I mean, most of the MVPs the past 2 seasons haven't won the championship. Harden's been MVP, I think. Giannis has been MVP. They haven't won the championship. It's hard. So Phoenix. New Orleans. Look. New Orleans may have lost Anthony Davis, but look at their team. Brandon Ingram took the next step. If Zion's healthy, Redick. I think New Orleans has a chance to be a playoff team. I think there's more teams in the West that could be a playoff team than teams in the East. Because I think the Western team is that much better. Much better teams. And that's been going on for 20 years that the West has always had better teams than the East. Because most of the superstars are in the West. So my playoff teams for the West is going to be two Los Angeles teams. Denver, Utah, Dallas. I still think Houston is going to make it, but I don't think they're going to be a high seed. I see Phoenix making it, and I can see New Orleans making it. And I see San Antonio making it. Possibly. I don't see Golden State. I think Golden State's going to be better because of Curry, Wiseman, but it's Wiggins. Wiggins becomes a player. If Wiggins becomes a player, everybody thought he could be in the 2013 draft, then they could be a team to reckon with. So let's go to this is gonna be a short video, guys, because yeah, I agree with you. The East, I agree with you. The best division in the East is the Atlantic. Besides the Knicks, there's no bad team in the Atlantic besides the Knicks. I think 4 teams from the Atlantic is going to make the playoffs. Brooklyn, Boston, Sixers, and the Raptors. Those are the 4 teams from the Atlantic can make the playoffs in the East. That's the best division. But let's hope the season goes well, right, guys? We're really having COVID problems with the Houston Rockets. And they may not start the starters. And it's the first game of the season, so it really doesn't matter. Even though it's a 72-game season, right? It's still a long way to go. Gotta take this seriously. So, the Clippers have to take this seriously. I mean, the Clippers have a team that can make the championship. But I don't like their makeup. I like Ibaka as an addition for the Clippers. Harden is a game changer for any team that trades for him in the East, but what's going on these past few days with Harden, I would not trade for him because he's a great scorer, but he doesn't do anything on the outs. He doesn't defend. He won't do the hard work that makes the team win. If you look at all the superstar players that won championship, Kawhi, LeBron, Anthony Davis, Curry. Even Curry's not a great defender, but he'll try. Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, Durant. Even though Irving's won a championship, you can't win with him. You can't let him, Kyrie Irving, let him win a championship. All the great players that won championships. Even Giannis, even though he hasn't won a championship, they defend. I know there's been times LeBron gets criticized for not defending. Well, when the time comes, LeBron's an elite defender. when times come, when it's all the top players, when they win championships, when it's playoffs and championships come up, that's when they take it to the next step, not just by scoring, but by defending. And when you have a superstar that's willing to defend, the rest of the players look at that and steps up their game. They want to play for that guy. Harden doesn't do it. You can tell. You can tell players don't want to play with Harden. You can tell. They don't. They may not say it publicly, but you can tell they don't like playing with Harden. And they don't like playing with Harden. Maybe that's the reason Chris Paul went out, got traded. Westbrook went out. I mean, Westbrook knew Harden in Oklahoma. Yeah. Curry does play defense. He's not a great defender because he has limitations, but he does try to play defense. Like, I'm okay with that. Even though you're not a great defender, I can accept players trying to play defense. I can accept that as a fan, and if I was an NBA personnel, a coach, I can accept that. I want players to try to play defense, even though they're not the best defender out there. Try to play defense, because as much as you can score, defense wins championships, and the best players play with defense. Look at Michael Jordan, guys. Michael Jordan could score at will. But guess what happens with Michael Jordan when the game means the most? He steps up and play defense. Players look to superstars to step up the game and play defense. And that's what gets the rest of the players motivated. Yeah. This is all I ask for. At least try. Some players have limitations because some players don't have the wingspan, but at least try. Don't be lazy. I know it's a long season, but you're being paid a lot. These superstar players are being paid a lot. And Harden's making $44 million, right? He's at a year. And he rejected a 2-year deal of $50 million a year. And I wouldn't give him $50 million. I think he's a great scorer. Boopy-doo. Great scorer. Gilbert Arenas was a great scorer, and he didn't play in the defense. And remember that year Gilbert Arenas, like in the 2000s, had averaged 30 to 35 points a game? That Wizard team was good, but he didn't play defense. Kobe Bryant 1 year had 35 points a year. Averaged 35 points a year. But Kobe Bryant could play defense. All you gotta do is superstars step up when there's a time to, and not just by scoring, by rebounding, by leading. You lead. You don't lead with scoring. I'm sorry. In sports, you don't lead by scoring, by offense. That's a point guard's job. They tell the people what to do, where to go and stuff. But you mostly lead by defense, because if you're not a good offensive team and you're a good defensive team, that could keep you in the game. Look at the Detroit Pistons, 2004 against the Lakers. 4 Hall of Famers on that team. Yes, Malone and Payton were not exactly in their prime anymore. But Malone, one of the best power forwards of all time. Payton, tenacious, one of the best point guards, tenacious defender. Tenacious. And you got Shaq and Kobe. And the Pistons, Rick Hamilton, the Antonio McDyess, Rasheed Wallace, Ben Wallace. Who else? Chauncey Phillips. All stars, but are they Hall of Famers or superstars? No. But what they did to that Lakers team was smother them with their defense. And when you do that, you could beat any team with no matter what superstars they have on their team. You could beat a team with defense. And every sport, defense wins championships. And I know offense sells. A lot of people want to see offense. More offense because it sells. The only sport I like to see offense improve a little bit is baseball, because the shifts kind of turn away the offense a bit, because in baseball it's about hitting home runs and getting on base. If you can hit 240, 250, but you hit 30 home runs and you can have a good on base percentage, you can get on base, and that's okay. But I still like to see a 300 hitter. I think I see a good hitter, 300 hitter, 280, 290, 300 hitter could get on base, but I still like to see some offense improve in baseball because of the shift. But it's in their head of the baseball players that launch angle is the way to go by hitting the ball in the air. But in baseball, usually the ball in the air, you get more hits on the ground than you get in the air. Yeah, see, here's the thing with Iverson. The thing is, Harden reminds me of Iverson. Here's a good comparison. Here's the thing, but the difference is Iverson brought their team to a championship, the Sixers to a championship against the Lakers. But that Lakers beat them 4-1 in that championship series. The thing of Iverson is, great scorer, sure, great scorer. He can actually defend too. He could defend a bit because he was a great stealer. That's the difference between him and Harden. Iverson was not much had issues too, but he tried. And I know the practice thing. He was someone you couldn't really get behind in terms of his personality, but he'll try to play defense. And Chauncey Phillips, yeah, what can you say about Chauncey Phillips? Not all-star point guard, well respected. He could shoot, he could defend, got bounced around a lot early in his career. And the guy's gonna be a good coach. He's gonna be a great coach. You see, point guards are gonna be good coaches in the NBA. If you notice that most of the coaches in the NBA are point guards, like Doc Rivers, Steve Nash, Jason Kidd. Most of them are point guards because they're the ones that directed the players where to go, how to set up, and all that. And congrats to Steve Nash for getting his first win as NBA head coach. Good luck on being the personalities of Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant. I mean, I know Kevin Durant's very sensitive, but I would take Durant over Kyrie Irving 100%. Because there's nobody like Durant. But congrats to Steve Nash getting his first win of the season. What else is in NBA? So playoffs. My finals is gonna be. I'm gonna go with my finals. My finals is gonna be Lakers and the best because they got much better. This is a hero who tenacious rebounder, maybe limitations in his defense because he's not his height and stuff, but great rebounder. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm not a fan of Nets. I'm a Raptor fan, so I can't be a fan of Nets. But Steve Nash is Canadian, and I'm from Canada, right? So I'm rooting for Steve Nash. I just hope he could put up with the personalities of Durant and Kyrie because those are two huge personalities. And if they could play like that against the Warriors, they'll be fine. But I'm one of those people I don't think this will work because of those two personalities. But good luck to Steve Nash for dealing with those personalities. Because let's remember, Kyrie didn't work in Cleveland. He was bitching about LeBron, and I'm sorry, Kyrie, but LeBron is better than you. And he wanted to be his old man in Boston, and that didn't work out well. Kyrie's a bitter man. He doesn't like the press and media, and he doesn't like he's not happy. For some reason, he's not happy. But I'm sorry, Kyrie, but this is Brooklyn is being built as Kyrie and Durant's team. No, it's Durant's team. Because if they're going to win a championship, it's not because of Kyrie. It's going to be because of Durant. And a healthy Durant. I mean, the way he played last night, coming back from the devastating torn Achilles in Game 5 for the championship, after coming back from the injury before, I would be worried, NBA, especially in the East. So, congrats to Steve Nash. So, Lakers in the Western Conference. Lakers in the Western Conference. Eastern Conference. I don't think it's going to be the Nets. I know a lot of people are predicting the Nets. I don't think it's going to be the Nets. I don't think it's going to be the Celtics. I don't think it's going to be the Sixers. I think this is the year of the Bucks. Because Drew Holiday is a massive upgrade over Eric Bledsoe. I know George Hill. A lot of people like George Hill. Solid defender, solid leader. But Drew Holiday is a massive upgrade. I'm going with the Bucks here, the East. Lakers and Bucks. But I'm still picking the Lakers to win the championship again. I think they're going to repeat because they really upgraded their season. As I mentioned like 5,000 times. They really upgraded their season, their team. Yeah, And I'm not sure. Did Anthony Davis resign yet? But maybe you know if Anthony Davis resigned yet with the Lakers. Because if he has resigned, there could be a dynasty for the Lakers. Possible dynasty looming for the Lakers once again. But I hope the season goes fine. Today is not a good start. But it's the Rockets. Their team's a mess. So I hope for the first half until March it's been the first half. I hope things go smoothly. I know there's probably gonna be some positive tests. Yeah, see, okay. If Davis resigned, then I can see a dynasty for the Lakers. Possible dynasty for the Lakers. So once again, I hope the season goes smoothly. And there's gonna be some positives. We gotta be prepared for that. But things are looking good. And the second half of the season, maybe they get vaccinated or the vaccine. I don't know. Second half of the season, it looks like it'll be more public. And maybe they get vaccinated. And I know some players are gonna reject it, but who knows? And this is my opinion. I know a lot of people say athletes should get the vaccine last, not before people. And there's been talk about leagues getting the vaccines, buying the vaccine for their players and personnel. Here's my thing on it. If the athletes are playing, especially college athletes, they should be considered essential, and they should get vaccinated in the first tier or whatever, because they're playing and they can get sick. So I would consider them essential if they're playing. But first, the hospitals and the homes have to get it first. The people that are dying and people working on the front lines need it first. Those are the most important people. So Lakers, Bucks in the finals. Lakers winning the championship. Giannis will get there. This will be the year when Giannis gets the Bucks to the championship. I know Alex Palowski is very happy that Giannis resigned. That's good. That's you know what, the way the NBA has been going since LeBron James went to Miami. Superstars, you cannot trust superstars being loyal to their team, and this might be the first true sign of Giannis staying with his team. I mean, I remember Jeremy Lambert. Remember, if you watched Jeremy Lambert in The Distraction, I asked him a question: who did him wrong in the Thunder? Durant was one of them. I understand why Durant. Reggie Jackson. I didn't understand Reggie Jackson because they were starting him over Westbrook or something, and possibly and it was Paul George, because Paul George. Oh yeah. Exactly my point. They're going to be traveling. And the other person Jeremy Lambert said was Paul George, because Paul George resigned resigned the Thunder and manipulated his way, manipulated everything, cohorted with behind the Clippers behind the Thunder's back to get Paul George to the Clippers. You know, Paul George isn't loyal to Indiana. Wasn't loyal. He signed that contract with Thunder. Then him and Kawhi basically talking to each other behind their team. Like, Kawhi only signed with the Clippers if they get Paul George. And that's what happened. Paul George is like, yeah, okay, I'll go to the Clippers. Like, Thunder's like, I'm not happy. Superstars. You can't trust superstars in the NBA. But you can trust Giannis because he's really the first indication that he resigned with the Bucks. There was talks about that. Like, is he going to resign or not? Anthony Davis resigned. So, thank you. There was no suspicion that it was clear today that Anthony Davis is going to resign with the Lakers. It's loyalty is an issue with NBA players in the NBA. Superstar-like players. As all they want to be traded or free agent signing, whatever. Like, I mean, as a free agent, you're free to go anywhere. You're free to go anywhere. You can choose whatever team you want to go to. But if you're asking for teams for trades and stuff like Harden is, Westbrook, then I have a problem. Anthony Davis, Kawhi. It's like the only sport where publicly you hear people wanting to be traded. Because there's so much noise in NBA. And with that, I'm gonna end it here. It's gonna be only a 40-minute stream because I wasn't planning to do an hour long, but it's gonna be a stream. So the Lakers Bucks to finish off. Lakers Bucks in the finals. Lakers to repeat as champions, to defend the title, and repeat and retain the title, the NBA championship. In July, I believe. That's when they're having this. That's when the playoffs end in July. So that's when the finals will be. Hopefully they get to that point. Things will be better. I'm confident things will be better in July, around the world, around the U.S. and Canada. Okay, so now with that, I'm gonna tell you about my shows. Oh, thank you very much. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. So tomorrow tomorrow is my 6th or 7th episode called It's All About Pop. It's about pop culture. Tomorrow I'll be talking about Mandalorian season finale of season 2. I'm gonna rant on something that has to do with that. Or season 2 finale. If you haven't seen this season 2 finale, I suggest you don't watch because it's gonna be first thing I talk about. I'll give you a warning. And I'm gonna talk about Wonder Woman's box office numbers and why people are saying it's not doing well. Well, there's a reason why it's not doing well, and Warner Brothers knows the reason. I don't think the Justice League Snyder Cut version of his Justice League may have an official date. All I know is March, but it looks like to be the actual date now. And I talk about my favorite Christmas movies. That's tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. And Saturday, Saturday is the day after Christmas. I'm gonna talk about sports. Why we love sports. Episode 9. I'm gonna go over NFL Week 16 predictions and standings. We're getting close to the playoffs, and I'm gonna go over which teams that I think are gonna make it to the playoffs, especially the lower seed teams. Not the lower seed teams, but like the teams battling for the 6th, 7th spot in the playoffs, maybe 5th, 6th, 7th spot. I'm gonna go over NBA standings, even though it's gonna be 1 or 2 games for each team. But I like doing that. Hockey, I'm gonna talk about hockey, dates and stuff, and possible what team versus team on opening night's gonna be. Baseball, there's some interesting stuff coming out this week about baseball. No trades, no free agent signings. Usually this time that doesn't happen. They just take to spend time with their families, but there's been some rumors out there. Battle of New York for a certain player. Springer coming down potentially 2 teams. And my boy Sean Sapp's team, I have no idea what they're doing. They're apparently shopping every pitcher. I'll talk about that. And then, I'm a Bills fan, man. I live in Toronto, man, and I like the Bills. Love the Bills. Josh Allen, man, he's legit. When I watched him in the first season, I'm like, yeah, I think this guy could do it. I think this guy could be the quarterback the Bills were looking for since Jim Kelly. He's looked really good. He's been more accurate this year. That's what I like. One thing that he wasn't good at in the past 2 seasons was his strong arm, but his accuracy wasn't good. And he's been a lot more accurate this year. And so, yeah, and Monday I'm going to talk about wrestling. It's all about wrestling. And then in that week I'm going to go over whatever wrestling news happens. I'm going to go over Raw from this Monday, how the shitty Raw was. AEW Dynamite happens tonight. NXT happens tonight. And I'm going to go over SmackDown. And I'm not going to spoil don't spoil anything, guys, on SmackDown. Guys, whatever you do, don't spoil SmackDown. I know it's already been spoilers out already. but I'll be going over it on Monday. So it's basically a weekend review of wrestling and wrestling news, whatever wrestling news there is. And so yeah, those are my 3 new shows, my 3 new episodes for those shows. Thursday, yeah. So those are my shows. So all at 3 p.m. Thursday is all about the pop 3 p.m. Saturday, by We Love Sports 3 p.m. And Monday is all about wrestling at 3 p.m. Because those days are not an actual holiday, so it's okay. Yeah. Yeah. It makes sense to be Bill. It makes sense for your family to be Bills fans up there. I mean, I like the Buffalo Bills, right? I mean, you live in Toronto. If you live in Niagara Falls, Canada has a strong Bills with the Toronto Niagara Falls region. They have a strong fan base. I mean, they get like what 15 to 20,000 fans to go to the Bills games from Canada. So I want to say thank you for listening to my show. I'll see you tomorrow, and enjoy AEW Dynamite. I know it's gonna be on late, and NXT Takeover, and enjoy the basketball season. Thank you guys. Oh, you could also. I'm gonna just tell you my Twitter handle, and I'm gonna put it in the description below. It's at Aaron J's Fan, at Aaron J's Fan. So just look for me up on Twitter, and then you'll find me. Thank you. Come on.